What the fuck is up? Welcome back to my podcast that I totally know what the name is right now. I don't know. I'm debating on like a couple names, so let's just hope and pray that I choose one and that you guys like it. And if you don't like it, I don't know. But welcome back. It's been literally over 2 years, I think, since my last episode. I have been dying to come back, but I've just been waiting for the right time because I've just been a mess and I wanted to come back on my best behavior. And when I know that I'm not being messy or like, my last two episodes I actually didn't have a camera. It was just audio. And I always had this vision in my head with my podcast that I would be able to just chill and sit on my bed. Right now I have two camera angles, but my other camera angle is my webcam, and that is not the best quality. So I don't know how much of it I'm going to be using, but it's kind of a cool angle to see like how I'm chilling, how I'm like sitting like, we chilling in this bitch. Um Once I get another mic, I'm really excited. I'm definitely going to have guests on. I have a lot of guest ideas, and we're just going to be chilling on my big little bed and just having a conversation. And that's what I always just really wanted to do. I've always seen this vision of my podcast, like just chilling on my bed, like in this corner, like this, like just talking to you guys. And I'm so happy that I can deliver it to you today. Obviously, I don't think the audio is going to be like 100% like how I want it to be. So please ignore anything that I might fuck up. I am holding the mic and this is supposed to be on a mic stand. I'm working on it. Just give me some time, okay? Let's fucking catch up from the last 2 years because mm, it has been an interesting last 2 years. And today my two guest stars will be Starbucks Double Shot Energy, straight from the 7-Eleven gas station, and Benjamin, because we got some heavy topics today, and I want to be 100% transparent on everything because, Jesus fuck. Let's talk about my sobriety, because obviously that is a very important topic in my life. When I released episode 2 of my podcast, I'm pretty sure I was talking about sobriety like crazy. When I first had found sobriety, it was life changing to me because when I was an addict, I kind of saw myself as like, okay, I am a drug addict. That's it. I'm going to die this way. I didn't know that there was recovery. I didn't know that that was possible because all of the addicts in my life never recovered. So I just thought, I'm on the highway to hell. The beginning of last year, 2024, I was sober AF. AF. I had just quit my job at some restaurant that I will not name. You can watch my Storytime YouTube video on it if you want details, but it was all a dream. Yeah, that place. When I quit my DOC, drug of choice, which was Perk 30s. They were, I don't know if I need to like censor what I'm saying, but they were the blue ones, the blue M30s. I was addicted like crazy. And I got myself off of it, and that shit was a W getting off of it. Oh my God. Those withdrawals, like, opioid withdrawals are something that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. They are something that I don't think anyone should go through, especially at my age, because you literally feel like you're an old lady. It sucks. It's like the way your bones feel, your body feels, it's insane. The blue M30s were the hardest thing I'd had ever done. Um, and I quit, and I got put on anxiety medication. I got put on Klonopin, and for the first time in forever, literally, I was living life without anxiety, and it was so fucking crazy to me. I was going ham. Like, I was going on podcasts. I went on the Whatever podcast. I went on the Fresh and Fit podcast. I was going to festivals. I was vlogging, all this shit. I was literally living my best life, trying to I was I was streaming on Kick all the time. I was, like I was doing really, really good. At the time, I had this one friend, and me and her were just making money together, running it up together. Unfortunately, we are not friends anymore because of a little trip that happened. We went to California together, and let's just say it didn't end up like how I really do want to get into detail with this trip because, like, this trip did make a big turn in my life. Um, and I know she didn't want me talking about it, and I wasn't talking about it at all because I wanted to respect that. And I know why she wouldn't want me to talk about it. But let's talk about it. So, when I went to California, I went to go be on the Whatever podcast. The Whatever podcast was in Santa Barbara. And so we had an Airbnb booked in Santa Barbara for like a day or two. We were booking our flights. I had my dad on the phone because my dad travels a lot. So I wanted him to be there to like just monitor like what flights we were booking. I just wanted his like second opinion. And she was on the phone with us. We were like on a three-way basically, and she was like, we have to go to LA after Santa Barbara. I have so many friends there. I want you to meet them, network with them, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I really just want to go to Santa Barbara and come back home. I got school, all this shit. And she convinced me to go to LA after. So our flight there was to Santa Barbara, but our returning flight was from LA to here. After my appearance on the Whatever podcast that same night, she wanted to go straight to LA. We still had that night at the Airbnb, but she wanted to go really badly, and I'm like, whatever, I ride the wave. Um, Her friends were actually supposed to pick us up. Red flag, they never picked us up, so she had to pay for the Uber to drive us to from Santa Barbara to LA, which is hefty. And I put my foot down there and I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm not putting down for this Uber because like I never wanted to go to LA in the first place, and your friends literally were the ones that your friends were the ones that were supposed to pick us up, and they didn't. So they flaked on us, like, why? But she just wanted to go. She insisted on going. She paid for the Uber, so I'm like, whatever, let's go. When we got there, and let me tell you, me and her had promised to each other because we're both addicts, and we promised each other no drugs, no drinking on this trip. This is kind of like a business trip. We're networking. I came here for a podcast, and now I'm meeting your friends and stuff, and I guess they're like SoundCloud rappers or whatever the fuck, blah blah blah. I'm so tired of SoundCloud rappers. But yeah, so yeah, we get to LA and we get to her friend's apartment, and the apartments were not in the best area. Um, they literally, I don't know LA like that, but like it wasn't, it was on the bad side, And I'm not one to like really judge. I like where I grew up, it wasn't the best area either. It literally was basically like where we were in LA. I wasn't really scared when I was in LA because it was just a bunch of Hispanics. I'm Hispanic. Like I'm not, you know. Um so like I didn't feel threatened at all, but the thing is when we got there, all her friends were on drugs. All her friends were drinking, were ready to drink, blah 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 blah. There was one girl there that I just kept talking to the whole time I was there cuz she was sober and she wasn't doing anything. And so like I held on to her like my support system. Like I would talk to her cuz I was so proud of my recovery. I was so into Narcotics Anonymous, which is NA, which is like groups that you go to and talk about like your drug addiction, blah blah blah. So I was really into that, and I was just really proud of my sobriety, and I didn't want to jeopardize it just because I was in LA around a bunch of people that I didn't know, which is obviously dangerous too. If I start getting if I start getting fucked up around all these people, like, guys, me getting fucked up is not how regular people get fucked up, you know? So, yeah. Anyways, so right when we get there, she starts drinking, which there goes our promise just out the window. Um, and I wasn't mad at her because like I'm an addict, bro. Like I know what it's like. I know she hasn't seen her friends in so long. She wants to party with them. She wants to have fun with them. I get it. I get it. And I obviously was a little upset, but I wasn't letting it really get to me. If anything, I was more protective over her. I was watching her, making sure she was okay, all this shit, you know? So, um, the first days that we're there, everyone's really fucked up. I'm just kind of like around. I keep popping up on my Discord and talking to my friends because I kind of feel out of place because like all the girls are like over, like there's hella guys and then there's like a couple of girls and like they're all over the guys. And I'm like, I had literally just started like crushing over this one guy that lives in Florida. And like, the thing is, when I really like a guy, I will be loyal to him even if he's not loyal to me. And that's the really sad thing about that. And I'll touch more on this little guy situation later. But yeah, so my eyes were on him the whole time, even though he wasn't there, obviously. But like, yeah, my main drug that I had a lot of trouble getting off of was Xanax. And I would wake up in the morning and I would hear people say like, "Yo, pass me a Xanax, this isn't that." And y'all don't know how hard it was to hear that shit. Oh my god. But yeah, so whatever, time kept going. We were there for a couple days. I even went to the okay, so let me go back. So I was in an NA virtual meeting while I was in their apartment. They were all getting fucked up. I went on my phone and joined an NA virtual meeting like in California. And I'm just like listening to it, right? And I'm looking down and then I look up and my friend is fighting a girl. And I don't give a fuck what the fuck is going on, who the fuck is who, what the fuck. If my friend is fighting a girl and I know she is not in her right mind state, I'm jumping in. I'm going to make sure my friend is okay, you know? I got up so quick, bro, and my friend already had her on the floor and I just yeah, the guys had to get me off of her. It was bad. But like my anger, like from 0 to 100, you know, no one fucks with my friends, bro. You know, even though she's not my friend anymore, but at the time, you know, um, so that happened, and I guess it was a big misunderstanding. My friend was really fucked up and was telling me things that wasn't really true, and I found that out the next day because her mom called me crying, saying, "Is she in jail?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "No, she's not in jail," and she was like, "Oh, because she posted the fight video on her story," which is so crazy because the day before. Like when the fight happened, I posted a picture on my story of my jeans and put because I had blood on my jeans and I put the song Blood on My Jeans by Juice WRLD as a joke, and she got so mad at me because she was like she didn't want like her followers to find out that we like are starting shit already in Cali or we're getting in fights, blah blah blah. So she made me delete it, and she blamed it all on me on why people found out that there was a fight, but she was the one that posted the fight on her story. Her mom called me crying the next day, like, "Is she okay?" And of course I was like, "No, like, she's good, I got her, like, you're good, I'm not drinking." Like, I felt so bad. And so that morning I went to the EBT place with the people that lived in that apartment and tried to get EBT because apparently it's really easy to get in LA if you just tell them you're homeless. And so I tried my best to get it, but I unfortunately did not get it. But I just wanted to like repay them for the night before because like I just felt bad. And yo, that apartment had no food, like no food. I kept buying people snacks and shit. Like it was bad. Um, so I kept getting a little bit fed up. Like being in this environment was really triggering, obviously, as an addict. I would call my dad and tell him what's going on, but I didn't want him to tell my mom because I knew if my mom found out, she'd be like, come home immediately. What finally triggered me was there was this night and I wanted to experience a rave in LA because you guys know I love raving. Um, and like a fucking underground like rave in LA, like what the fuck? That's not everyone gets to experience that. So I found one and then I was able to actually DM the DJ and he got every single person in that apartment guest listed for me. So I got every single person, like, bro, there was like at least 7 people in that apartment. And I got them all guest listed to this rave, including my friend, obviously. And so before we go to the rave, she tells me she needs to drink because she doesn't really like raves. So I tell her, I'm like, we don't have to go. Like, if you feel like you need to drink to go to a rave, then it's not for you. I'm not dying to go. Like, I literally had this conversation with her, and she was like, no, 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 like, I really want to go, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, bro. So we get there. I end up actually losing my phone right when I get there, which was really scary. I had left it on the fucking uh, I had left it on the chair somewhere in there, and then I had found it again. And I also had brought my anxiety medication with me, just in case. And then that got sacked, but I only brought like a little bit. Like I didn't bring the whole prescription, so I was fine. You know, I still had some back at the apartment. So like it was like a whole whoa. Anyways, so the DJ that invited us, he starts playing and he probably has like 30 minutes left in his set. And my friend is telling me she wants to go home because she wants to go make music with this boy that lives in the apartment. And if I can Uber home. This is where I should have been a little bit more communicative with her and told her like I don't really want to Uber home alone. It's downtown LA, like what? But I was just like, all right. So her and the whole friend group end up just going home and just leaving me at the rave. And I stay there because I wanted to show support to the DJ because he guest listed us and I was recording him. I was making a little vlog out of it, so I wanted to get everything out of it. And I also wanted to say thank you at the end, but I actually didn't even end up catching him at the end. I had met this guy while I was there and he was basically with me the whole time, and I had told him what happened and he was kind of like being my little guardian, throughout the night. So that was cool. Like he brought me to my Uber and shit like that. When I get there, I'm obviously not that happy. And when I get back to the apartment, she's making music with a boy and everyone else is sleeping. And I'm just like, wow, like you really fucking left me there. That was our last night in LA. We were supposed to go back to the airport that morning, but I was just so fucking fed up that I ended up packing up all my shit when I came back from the rave and just going straight to the airport. And I was like, I'm just gonna wait it out in the airport like till the morning, and like take my flight. And if she wants to meet me there, she can. So she ends up texting me saying that she's really hungover and um, that she's not gonna take this flight. She's gonna extend her stay for like 2 days and then fly back. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm still gonna take this flight and go home, blah blah blah. But I was being very, very dry with her, and I think that was kind of scaring her. But I was just being dry because I was upset and I didn't want to say the wrong things. I just wanted to process what happened and just like, I wasn't like it was never my intentions to not like continue being friends with her. I know how her brain works. Like we're both addicts. Like I wasn't like mad at her like that, I was just like disappointed. And so I was being really dry in text messages, blah blah blah. And so when I get back to Orlando, one of the girls, the girl that was sober and all this, starts texting me some crazy shit, saying that that my friend was telling everybody that I was nodding off the whole time that I was there, that I was on drugs, all this shit, which was insane. In fucking insane, because I was so proud of myself for staying sober that whole trip, and the fact that she was putting that on me was crazy. And it was the girl that I told you guys was sober and that I would talk to her about being sober and all this shit. She texted me saying, how dare you like switch up on your friend, blah 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 blah. I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like, she's literally feeding you guys bullshit. So my friend, she is cordial with me, she's nice to me, and all this shit while she's still in LA. And then 2 days later, when she comes and gets her stuff, my mom is now aware of what happened, and my mom does not want her in my house. I understand. Um, it's her fucking rules, her house, her rules. The car was parked in front of my house. And she obviously had to drive back home. She lives like an hour away, an hour and a half. And I left her keys and everything in my mailbox for her to grab, and she grabbed them and she drove back home. I knew she was going to come back to Florida because she needed to get her prescription filled. Um, and we are both prescribed the same things. And like I said, I was prescribed Klonopin, which is, that's what she was prescribed. You are not supposed to mix alcohol with Klonopin or it's an immediate blackout. And that's what she was doing literally the whole fucking weekend. She tried telling people that I was taking like 3 Klonopin a day, trying to like trying to make it seem like I was just abusing the fuck out of my Klonopin, which I wasn't. And even if I was taking 3 a day, that's how much my prescription bottle says I'm supposed to take. So I I don't know what the fuck she was trying to get out of that, but I wasn't even taking 3 a day. Maybe before like the podcast, I took like one extra because I was so fucking anxious. But like the way she was making it seem was like you're just obviously guilty. Like, just stop trying to, like, you know. So when she came back to Florida, and then when she was back to her side of Florida, she would join my Discord while I was sleeping and start talking the maddest shit about me to my friends, slurring her words, saying, just literally saying the worst things ever about me. And I am so grateful for my friends because they sat there and they stood up for me, because they were on Discord calls when I was in LA. They witnessed a lot, you know? So, like, you couldn't really lie to them, you know? So, she would go on social media and be like, if you still follow Mari, I'm blocking you, blah, 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 blah. Like, on her spam account, and talking about following my spam account. So, literally, one day I went through my spam and I removed everybody because I was like, I don't care. Like, this is like, I like I don't care about your followers not liking me anymore, you know? Like, if anything, here you go. Mass remove all of every single one of my followers, because my spam account was for me. It was never for clout or any of that. When I had gotten home, I went through her LOL cow farm, and I realized why she's so paranoid on being exposed all the time, because she yelled at me multiple times while we were in LA about things that I posted, because she was scared that she was going to get exposed somehow. And going through that forum, I understood why she was so paranoid, and I understood why she had lost so many friends before, and just everything. I had never gone through that forum because I knew it like traumatized her, and I just felt like I was invading her privacy. But I was really happy I did go through it, so I knew what type of person I was dealing with now, because I was not the person that I thought she was, you know? Once in a while, people would join our kick streams or our discords and bring up her scandals or like things that she said that got her in trouble, and I would sit there and defend her. Before I went through that forum and all that shit, I would always defend her. But after going through that forum, I really couldn't defend her. And it was like the way she completely switched up on me, I saw a pattern of her doing that to other people in her life, other best friends that she had in her past. So it was just another one of them. Except I'm the only one that didn't feed into the drama. I stayed quiet. She was posting about me, all this shit, and talking about me. She went out of her way to DM all my friends, DM the guy that I told you guys that I liked so much, that I was like staying loyal to for no reason, to just try to get them all to switch up on me. And obviously it didn't work. And I continued to stay silent. I didn't text her, I didn't message her, nothing. And yeah, I just kept living my life, you know? So that era was over being friends with her, because a lot of people knew us as being like best friends together, especially on our kick streams, and just like we had clients and stuff like that that knew us as best friends. So eventually I started focusing more on my EDM journey. I was networking a lot in the EDM world in Orlando. I was meeting people who throw EDM events. I was meeting DJs. I was meeting venue people, all types of people that were in the EDM scene. I met this one DJ. His name was DJ Fans, and he introduced me to everybody. He was like an OG DJ. He was like 27, so he had been doing it for a little bit in our in Orlando. So he knew a lot of people, and he took me one day to introduce me to everybody, and I got to meet everybody, and it was so cool. And then we had Home Base, which is like a resort style rave, and I'm an ambassador for Home Base, and like it was just awesome. He introduced me to so many people, and like he really helped me build friendships together. Vance is awesome. He's an awesome DJ. Every time he would go perform, I would tell him to join our Discord, and we would fucking be flowing while he's like performing at some club, and I couldn't go. I tried kind of like staying home a little. I didn't really like going downtown a lot, because like I liked saving my money for festivals more. And like I said, I wasn't drinking or doing drugs or anything, so I didn't want any temptations when I go downtown. Um, Eventually, I had gone to Soulfest, and you guys saw the vlog for Soulfest. I volunteered for Soulfest. That was a shit show, but it was fun too. But it was a shit show. Oh my god. Watch the vlog if you haven't. And now they're coming back with Metamorphosis Fest here in Orlando. The lineup is kind of fire, and I'm like, I don't know. Soulfest, what are you doing? You gonna fuck us over again? You gonna treat us good in Orlando? But yeah, so then I went to Electric Forest in Michigan, and that was a really fun time. I was still sober. I would wake up early for the workshops. They had like meditations and like all this types of stuff, and like it was a really fun festival. I really loved Electric Forest. And I wasn't working it, so I was just attending it, so I got to enjoy it like times 100. We did get rained on a little bit, so that was kind of crazy. So anyways, after Electric Forest, and I'm pretty sure Home Base was after Electric Forest, and that's where I hung out with fans a lot and all my friends. It was really fun. I got a room, and I was actually being very like secluded with my room. Like I said, I was still sober, so I wanted to have a safe space. I realized that having a safe space, when you're surrounded by so many like substances and people on substances, is really important to have somewhere where you can just kind of recoup and be by yourself. So I was like, I'm gonna make sure I get a room, and I'm not gonna like let anybody in. This is gonna be my safe space. So that's basically what I did for all of Home Base, and I had fun. So after Home Base, I and right before I had gone to California, I dropped my laptop in the pool. So that stopped me from streaming on Kick like like I was I was streaming on Kick a lot, and then when that happened, it put a huge hold on my Kick account. Um So eventually, I had bought a gaming PC, and I wanted to kind of switch my content around because on Kick I was doing like bikini and hot tub streams, and it was just getting really old. Like it gets really really old really quick. And it just wasn't my thing anymore. So I eventually bought a gaming PC because I was like, I want to game. I want to like stream my personality, you know? um, and so I got the PC and I like tried games out. I had a good friend at the time and I had to eventually drop him because first of all, he was my mom's age and he was a great friend. Don't get me wrong. He was a very good friend. But when it comes to guys, they eventually always catch feelings or somehow, and they always want to eventually fucking fuck you. And it got to that point and I freaked out on him and had to drop him as a friend. I'm not going to go into detail with that because that one's a little personal. Maybe I'll go in detail one day, but yeah, that's the gist of that. He was basically my right hand man for like a couple months. After I stopped being friends with him, well, no. Let's. While I was friends with him, I got crazy news. So I want to say November. So whenever Lost Lands was, Lost Lands, the music festival, it was going on and it had just ended. It was the Monday where everyone was leaving, and I get a call from one of my friends saying that someone had passed away. And it was Fans, DJ Fans, the one that I was talking about earlier. He had passed away. And this shattered me. This literally broke my entire heart. I had his book bag sitting outside my hallway waiting for him to come back to Florida so I can return it to him. I was holding it for him since home base and he was just trying to get a ride to come get it eventually. And he was going to come get it after Lost Lands. He never was able to come get it. So that Monday that I found out he passed away, I had messaged my ex, YJ. Now, if you know me, you know YJ. I dated for 3.5 years. I actually spoke a lot about him on my first episode of my podcast. But the thing is, the way I was speaking about him was like he was my ex. Also spoke about him on the Whatever podcast, and I was speaking about him like he was my ex. It took me so long to get over him, to convince myself that I was over him. It took so much fucking healing to get over this man, you know? Um, and so and at the time, I knew he was having his drug issues. That was kind of the main reason why me and him broke up, because I wanted to kind of get my shit together and stop doing drugs, and I wanted him to get his shit together, and then maybe we could have rekindled if he would always tell me, he would always be like, I'm gonna get my shit together, like we're gonna get back together, blah, 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 blah. I would never believe him because it was like there was no growth, no progress ever showing, you know. And I knew he was down in the deep end. So I was a little worried about him. uh, all of 2024. I had a bad feeling. And I would check up on him every so often, but then he eventually did get a girlfriend, and I didn't want to interfere with their relationship because she was kind of like jealous when I would message him, and I completely understand. So I wouldn't want like my boyfriend's ex messaging him constantly. So I kind of like gave them the space, you know? Um, but that Monday that I found out that Fans died, I checked up on YJ and I was like, yo, you good? You know, like, how are you doing? Because Fans just died, and like, I just want to make sure you're straight. And he answered, and he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm just going through shit, but I'm straight, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't respond. That Friday, I found out he passed away. His brother texted me saying, I don't know if you care, but my brother passed away. You don't know if I care? Bruh. Like, that killed me. Let's, now we need to take a hit of Benjamin for this one. In the beginning of the year, I had texted his girlfriend saying, hey, if you really care about him, can you please try to get him off the blues, because it's not going to end well if he doesn't stop. And she was like, what do you mean not end well? And I'm like someone's going to have a seizure or someone's going to OD. Like, please try to get him off of this. And she was like, yeah, we're going to try to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, whatever. So when I found this out, every negative thing that I ever felt about him, every bad memory that I ever experienced with him just went away. Like, I could only remember the good stuff, and I can only remember the good in him. I do have to validate the fact that after him and I broke up, I would talk the most shit about him, and I would say it to his face too, because it was just my coping mechanism. It was my way to like try to make me not like him anymore, if that makes any sense. Like, so literally when he passed away, it's like all that went away, and I only could remember the good. And ooh, it's crazy because some people, like, I was talking to some people about it, and like they'd be like, yo, if my ex died, I'd laugh. And I was like, really? um so I was really, 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 really going through it. I was blaming myself because when me and him were together, I was trying to get him sober. I was trying to do my best, and I started blaming myself, thinking if we were still together, he would have not been so far off the deep end. I would have never let him do that. Like, like, he had passed away on his girlfriend's bed, like, while she was sleeping. And it was just like, I know she was new to the relationship, and I know she was new to drugs, so I really can't blame her, because I put myself in her shoes, like if it was like when I first met him, and if I was in that situation, and if that's just such a shitty situation to be in. And I spoke to his girlfriend, and I obviously, like, we were both going through it. It was bad. I was really, 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 really going through it, because no matter what, he was always the person I would go to, like, even before they started dating, me and him were single for like a year, and I would always talk to him. I would fall asleep with him on FaceTime, even though we weren't dating anymore. Like, we had a really, 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 really close relationship. Um, so losing him felt like I lost the closest person ever to me, because he is someone that I had fully opened up to and knew everything about me, and I knew everything about him, and this fucking broke me. I think I talked about this in my first episode, but there was this one time where I tried to like wipe myself out of this earth, and I had bought enough M's for myself, and then he wanted to go with me, so I had a good amount, and so we both took them, and he realized that he was not, and so he called the ambulance, and I ended up getting revived, and that was like when I was like 19 or something like that. Um, and I'm 23 right now. So it was just kind of like when he passed away, it was like we're supposed to leave this earth together. You just left me here. um, so I got in like a really, really, really depressed state. All I wanted to do was be with his family, and I couldn't because they were in Georgia, and my car was not carring. My car was not carring, and I knew I couldn't make it to Georgia. Um, so I remember there was this one fucking music festival that I was promoting. It was in Tampa, and um, I had asked the person that was running the music festival if there was any way I can back out because I had very personal things going on. But the thing is, I was selling tickets, and I had to sell at least, I think it was like 5 tickets to get my ticket. And I had only sold one ticket so far. So I was like, can you please just refund my friend, and then I can just like move on, and like I don't have to go to this shit and blah, 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 blah. And they're like, we don't do refunds. So I'm like, great. Now I'm going to have to find more people to go with me to this shit because I don't want to fuck my friend over, blah, 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 blah. So I end up getting a whole group to go to this festival, and meanwhile, I am grieving like a bitch, you know? We go, I get on drinking right away. I start drinking like crazy. I turn into a fucking maniac. Um, I'm drinking, I'm doing K, I'm fucking poppers, like everything. Well, not everything, but like, you know. So yeah, that did not go good at all. I ended up having to come home early. That was also the time where I cut off that older friend that I was talking about, that older best friend that, yeah, I'm not going to get into detail with that. But yeah, so after that, I come back home, and his memorial is coming up, YJ's memorial. And I had already gone to Fance's candlelight, and I'm not gonna lie, YJ dying helped me with Fance's death because I was grieving so hard on YJ. Um, so I went to YJ's candlelight, and I was fine. I went with my mom, sober, but then and then they were gonna have like a little get together. Like his family came down to Florida from Georgia, and we were all gonna meet up. And this was my outs. I had found a plug that sells straight Fent. Um, I had never, ever, ever done this before in my entire life. This is something that I told myself I would never do. Um, but I had a plan, and I was getting the fuck out of this world because you know what? The next day was his funeral. So I got 2 baggies of the F, and I was saving it. I got it the day before, and I was gonna do it the next day, before his funeral. His funeral was like at 2, and it was the morning. I go downstairs to smoke a blunt, and my mother, oh my god, oh my god, like applaud, like Jesus fuck instincts. She never goes through my shit. She never goes through my bag. She just gets this feeling to go upstairs and go through my bag, and she finds all my products. At first, she thought it was cocaine. I'm like, Mom, you should know me better than that. Like, I don't do that shit. um, but it was a really shitty time because I had to tell my mom, like, I'm not doing drugs. I just want to die. You know, like I literally, I, I just don't want to be here. Like that's the reason why I bought that because I want to be wiped out. You know. So my mom was obviously very, very upset, and she didn't let me go to the funeral because of what she had just found, and I completely understand. So I did not get to go to YJ's funeral, and that kind of ate me alive. Um, Nothing against my mom for that, because it was all 100% my fault, but that ate me the fuck alive like crazy. I mean, maybe it was a blessing. Maybe I really just wasn't in the right mind state to go to that funeral, but that ate me alive. So eventually I kept making plans to try to, so I kept buying the product to try to wipe myself, but it kept not working. Like, they say that this product is so deadly and all this shit, and it just was not working for me. It really wasn't. And eventually I kept buying it, and I realized that I was starting to get addicted to the substance. Um because I was like, dude, we were buying this to like ourselves, not to get high. So I kind of had to snap myself out of it and get myself out of that situation, because my body had started to become dependent on it, and it was not good. It was not fun. If I had skipped a day where I like didn't do it, I would start getting cold sweats, shaking, all this shit. It was not good. The thing is with YJ's death that I want to add is YJ was a rapper, and I can proudly say that he was a rapper because he was so fucking talented, and I saw that from the minute I met him. I would bring him to the studio as much as possible for him to just create as much as he can, because he was so fucking good. So I would literally sit there and listen to songs that he wrote for me, and just literally just drown in my void, drown in my fucking hole listening to this music. And my Snapchat is filled with videos of him, pictures of him, memories of him. I had so many pictures to print out of him for his memorial that I gave out to his family. Like, he shaped my life like crazy. And I met him when I was 17, and we stopped dating when I was like in my 20s. I was still in high school when I met him. Like, I was still growing up. Like, he shaped me like crazy. He had a huge influence on just the person I am today. He introduced me to so much music, so much different things. Like, he really did have a huge impact in my life, and he left that impact. And the grieving process was really, 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 really fucking hard. Like, I lived with this man, like, I had my first apartment was with him, like, people on the internet used to know us as a couple together. We used to go live together. Like, it, this was a really, really hard death. And like, I've gone through deaths before. My stepdad passed away, but when it's someone that you loved, like relationship wise, like boyfriend and girlfriend wise, it's a different type of love, and the grieving is just, it's so much more different than if it's a family member. Even though I know the pills that I was taking before were laced with it, I never wanted to just be doing this shit straight up. And I was, and I really had to get myself out of that situation. So that's why I said I have been planning this podcast for so long, but I wanted to make sure I was clear-minded and not doing that shit anymore. Dude, like, I'd get zooted and be like, "Oh, I can fucking do this shit. I can start podcasting right now." I'd record myself, and then I'd rewatch it when I was sober, and I'm like, I cannot post this on the internet. Bitch, you're nodding out every 30 seconds. Like, no. Jesus fuck. I just was not doing good mentally at all. I talked to my psychiatrist, and he literally just upped my dose for my anxiety medication. I wasn't feeling anxiety anymore. Like, anxiety was gone. I was just depressed. I was depressed as fuck. I still like am working on all of that too. Like it's just I was very, 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 suicidal. I was I was very I was just ready to wipe myself off this earth any second. And eventually, once I got myself off the substance and it was really hard to get off of it, I started getting more of a clear mind, and I realized obviously that when I'm off these substances, I'm more in a depressed state and I'm not 100% myself because I am a lot more depressed and want to leave this world. But yeah, so I was dealing with that for a couple months, just abusing the fuck out of that shit and just functioning addict, I guess. So yeah, that is what you've missed. And you guys know I'm always going to be 100% honest with what the fuck I go through, because like this world is not sunshine and butterflies, and I'm grateful that I am going through this at a young age so I don't go through this at like 30 and have like a midlife crisis or some shit. Or like a lot of people in NA like tell you that it took them like 20 years to get clean. Like I don't want to be like that. At the time, I wasn't working. I was just making money on the internet. And I told myself I low-key need a job. I need to get myself on a schedule, and distract myself and just like something, just to keep me motivated, keep me going. So I got a job and I really do like my job. This is the first job in a while where I feel like not like a minion or not like a little rat for managers. Like they actually respect you at this job, which is crazy. Like it's crazy that it's literally like impossible to find a job nowadays where the managers don't have sticks up their ass. Like, oh my god. But yeah, so here I am now. I am currently California sober. I do not drink. Drinking is not for me. Every time I drink, I black out immediately and the demon comes out of me, and nobody needs that demon to come out because ew, ew. Literally, she's embarrassing, she's annoying, she's weird, she's rude, she's like, fuck that bitch. While all this was going on, I still had my eyes on the same guy that I was talking about from my California trip. Um, he doesn't, he never wanted to be in a relationship. He had just gotten out of a relationship like a couple months ago when I first met him, so I completely understand why he didn't want to be in a relationship, but I really liked this boy. I really liked him. And like it was kind of taking a toll on my mental too, because like when I really like somebody, I want to see them a lot. I want to hang out with them, and he doesn't live in my city. So like it was just the grieving and that, and just like it was just all so fucking much. So fucking much. I don't really want to go into detail on this guy because I don't want people to find him or people to like know who it is. I do pay him some respect because he dealt with the really, really, really dark side of me. Like I would be on like FaceTime crying, bawling my eyes out, grieving over YJ. And he didn't want to hear about my dead ex. I'm like, bro, he's dead. Like like what I don't understand, but whatever. Like um and this guy had also lost someone very close to him before in the past. So like he kind of saw where I was coming from because he watched me lose two very important people to me in the same week. So like I feel like he understood, and even though he was a little hard-headed about it, acting like I don't want to hear about your ex, like, and he, but at the same time, he did care. I feel like he genuinely did care about like my well-being, and like he did still sit there and hear me talk about my ex even though he didn't want to hear about it. I really should have just gone to therapy. I really should have just like booked a therapist, like a grieving therapist, and like really spoke about what the fuck was going on in my brain, but I didn't. I crashed out. That's basically my little update. I I'm not just going to be talking about things happening in my life in this podcast. I'm going to have like hot topics and like trending things to talk about too. But I really did just want to give like a little update on what has happened the last 2 years, last year, because I can genuinely say that 2024 was probably one of the worst years of my life. And it's so crazy because it started off so good and it ended so terribly. And I really shouldn't be sitting here today. The amount of times that I attempted is insane, dude. Insane. And I'm not even saying that for pity or anything. Like, it's like, I really shouldn't be here. Holy fuck. Like, this body of mine is really fucking fighting. um, so yeah, I'm just trying to get back on my feet and just find myself again, reconnect with myself again. And I've been brainstorming this podcast for so long, and I'm finally at a point where I can do it with a clear mind and not be nodding off on camera. Shout out to Ray J, by the way, for nodding. While I was on the fucking Fresh and Fit podcast, he was nodding off, and I'm just thinking in my head, damn, bro, I feel you. I feel you. And I was like, it's so crazy because in my head, I was like, damn, that's embarrassing. Like, I'm so happy that I'm not like doing those drugs anymore. And then a couple months later, I start doing those type of drugs and I'm nodding off on stream and camera, literally pulling a Ray J after yeah. So that was great. Um, and yeah, I just wanted I've been trying to go back to the whatever podcast, but shit, like my life just keeps hitting me and like just keeps slapping me in the face. Like I have attempted to set up to go back there probably 3 times with them already, and I feel so bad cuz they probably just think I'm a flaker, but like life was literally hitting me. Um like my mom also got sick. I'm not going to go into detail with that because I don't know how much she wants me to share on the internet about that. But my mom got sick too, and it was just like, and it, like when she got sick, it was a little bit after like I found out that YJ died, so I was like grieving, and I was like, now I need to be strong for my mom because like she don't want to hear my grieving bullshit right now. Like she's fucking going through it. So it was just like, oh my god, so much. But yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode. I feel like this podcast is going to be very interesting. I know everyone has like a podcast now, but like I believe in this one, y'all. I believe in this one. During my grieving process, I lost a lot of friends. A lot of fucking friends. I have guests in mind, but let me tell y'all, this is going to be my therapy session because I literally have like no one to ever talk to. So this podcast is just going to be my trauma dump. And you guys are just going to know everything that's going on in my life because why the fuck not? I've always been like that on social media. So podcast form. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'm going to also be trying to go live on Kick more again. I was live yesterday and it was pretty fun. I was putting tinsel in my hair. I cut my hair. My hair used to be like up to my butt. yeah, I was doing hair tinsel on live yesterday, and I'm gonna try to keep going live some more, whether I'm playing video games or just chatting with you guys. I need to fucking figure out IRL streaming because everyone keeps asking for that shit. Um, but yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for everyone who is still here, because if you're an OG, like, you're an OG, because that means you've been here for years. Um, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We got very, 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 very deep. Um, go fucking sobriety. Go sobriety. You know, if you're sober, give yourself a fucking pat in the back. Um, it's hard out here, and as a raver too, just know you don't have to go to raves on stuff. Like, if you can't enjoy a rave sober, then raves aren't for you. Okay? Okay. I just wanted to say that part. um, but yeah, so stay tuned. I will be back. If you guys are there, I would appreciate some comments on like anything you guys want me to talk about, or like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I'm excited that I have my own podcast now, and I'm not just a guest on someone else's podcast being talk shit to whatever podcast. Fresh and Fit. I tried going back on Fresh and Fit when I was in Miami, and the producer Chris literally got mad at me because I didn't tell him I was in Miami, and said I wasn't allowed on the show because I didn't tell him I was in Miami, and I guess I was being fake or something. I don't fucking know. Didn't know. You will definitely not catch me on Fresh and Fit anytime soon, which is sad because it's in Miami. It's so much closer than the Whatever podcast, but whatever. I do want to go back on the Whatever podcast, so hopefully I can make myself on that side of the country sometime soon, maybe one day. I miss it over there. I liked it over there, low key, even though y'all know how that went, but it was fun. It was low key fun. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to please like it and subscribe. I love you extra if you comment. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next episodes. Adios.